I'm Nate Amaja.
And today we are joined by
Dominic,
AKA
also known as the Shoe Surgeon.
the Shoe Surgeon.
Get it.
And it's great to have you, man. It's been a long time coming, and we are excited to learn everything about you.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate you having me. Well, I appreciate you guys coming to the space, checking it out.
No, this place is freaking insane.
Sick, man.
Freaking insane.
I don't even know. Like, this is like literally a kid's wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. My goal was to just have like a creative compound that, you know, you can play basketball, or you can play soccer, you can get a drink, you can meditate, whatever you want to do, and you can also make a pair of shoes or anything.
So, speaking about shoes, let's start from the beginning. What is it about shoes that basically made you want to create them?
Man, I mean, I remember in middle school, I had an orange Sharpie, and I was sharpening a pair of Dada Supremes. I got those at like a Marshall's, and it was like, I think that was like the introduction to like customizing. I don't really tell that story too often, but I was always into fashion at a young age. I had an older brother, and I became friends with his friends that loved to dress and all that type of stuff. So then when it came freshman year of high school, that's when my cousin, she's, you know, older cousin, she let me wear her original 1986 Jordan 1s. And, you know, I kind of knew what they were, but I didn't really. And I wore them, and everyone kind of just tripped. Like, yo, all the older guys, where'd you get those? And I just felt good.
Hell yeah.
You know, I just felt good. I was like, oh, shit, like, I don't have to talk. And people were, like, giving me props. Like, this is cool. These shoes are special. There's something about shoes. And then I started getting Jordans early. And same thing. Like, I'd get a pair of Jordans before they were released, and I'd go to like a Foot Locker and wear them, and people were like, yo, where'd you get those? And I just like smart, like I was a cool guy. And then after that, all my homies had the same shoes, same outfits. We literally were texting each other like, hey, what shoes you wearing today? Like, I don't want to wear those ones. We had the same outfits, and I was like, this isn't even fun anymore. This isn't special. There's something about having something one of one, unique.
Yeah.
That made me feel good, and I was like, that's the feeling I was looking for. So that's when I picked up an airbrush and airbrushed an all-white Air Force One mid in camouflage. Went to school, and it was the same reaction, like, yo, where'd you get those? And I was like, oh, I made them. So that's when I knew like I could figure out art and do something to the shoe that would create that feeling again.
That's so far.
So
That's
It's
it.
actually super good.
You know, you talked about that, like that. Oh, I made it. Like, what does that feel like to be able to say to someone like, "Oh, I made that." That's my work that you're looking at.
yeah, I think that's the best feeling, and that's why we teach the process now, because there's like we have these ideas, and we're creative humans. It's like we need these ideas to come out in a physical form, and there's something just about getting art out there, and it's an undescribable feeling. It's just like, man, that's what bliss is, I think. It's like, it's just, you have an idea, instead of like, there's a lot of people that always have these ideas and talk about ideas, and it's like, no, let's get that idea in a physical form, you know, so it's cool.
And, you know, there's times where I feel like for a lot of creatives, they get bogged down by the creative process. So what do you do to find motivation and inspiration to keep on creating shoes and keep on creating your ideas?
A lot of people ask me like what my creative process is, and I think your question is good because it doesn't exactly say what's your creative process. It's just like, how do you get inspired, and inspired from everything. I mean, even this meeting right now is going to inspire me some sort of way. It's the energy, it's the food I eat. I love to go out and eat. It's where I came from. It's the nature. Like, it's not one thing. It's not like, it's also being on Instagram, seeing what other people are doing, or like getting inspired by other fashion, or not even fashion. It's just my kids, inspired by the people that are here. And what I'm finding more so these days is just really becoming grateful. Because a lot of my life I didn't share gratitude, and it took me to a very dark place. It also took me to a good place with the business. It forced me to like keep wanting more and getting better. Yet at the same time, it was like a lot of creatives deal with this. It's like a blessing and a curse. But I've overcame it and realized, yes, things can always be better, but also don't forget where you came from. Don't forget about the struggles, and really look at it like put yourself in someone else's shoes. People would kill to be in this position, so it's like don't lose sight of that. And I lost sight of that at one point, multiple times.
That's crazy. What do you feel like brings you back? Like what's energy? Like what? Like I don't know. Like what do you look at in the mirror? And like, all right, let's go.
The want for more, learning. I remember being a kid, I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to learn. Excuse me, that's incorrect. I didn't want to learn the traditional school way, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to come read a book, you got to take a test. Like I just didn't want. I didn't like to do what other people were doing, and I was forced to learn the way I learned. And now, just looking at it, it's like, oh, that's what learning's about. Like even if it's learning a different way, it's okay. Like now I'm at this age where I feel like I'm 16, and it's like, I'm learning everything. I'm learning how to tattoo, I'm learning music, and now I'm learning from the best in the world because of just what I've been able to create friendships with, like the best musicians in the world, the best tattoo artists in the world, and now they're like homies. So it's like, it's amazing that, to keep learning.
That's crazy. And you've collaborated with so many of just people who are world renowned. Name a few. I've seen some people that you collaborated with, OBJ. You collaborated. I think, did you give LeBron like $100,000 sneakers at one point?
Yeah, we worked with Nike on a $100,000 pair of sneakers for LeBron. It was to commemorate his 30,000 points.
And you just hit 35,000 yesterday.
So. Oh wow, I missed that. I haven't been up to date on it, man. I gotta watch all the COVID games.
So what do you feel like is your favorite collaboration? Is there any collaboration that you have in mind that you're still hoping for?
Yeah, I don't believe in favorites. I believe in everything's unique. Like even my kids are like, I think it's a traditional way of thinking. Like, oh, what's your favorite? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite color? And it's like, why do you have to choose a favorite? Like everything's unique. It's just like I have 2 kids. What's your favorite kid? It's like there's no favorite. But it's like they're amazing and perfect for what they are. And like so collaboration wise, I don't necessarily have a favorite. I do have the greatest moments, and that the LeBron one was there was so much struggle in it that made it more beautiful. And then I actually met him after, and he gave me props for it. There's so many. One of I guess if you want to say favorite, or the one I remember the most, is a very early one. I was creating a custom. This is 10 years ago. I was creating a custom Supra Skytop 4 Chad Muska, and Factory 413, which was the store at the time, and it was just the story of how I finished it, because I don't just come up with a design and then make it. It's like I have to build it to life. You have to feel the energy. It's not just like here's a picture and an idea and it comes to life. Like I have to feel that shit to life. And I had two. I designed out two ideas at the time, and it just wasn't speaking to me. And I cut out all the pieces for both of them just in case I wanted to check both of them out. And it was like the night before I procrastinate, and I wasn't done yet. I was just like, man, I'm not feeling it. I was sitting at a table like this, and I look around, and there's some veg tan leather, there's some Pendleton fabric, who sent me a cease and desist at the time. But there's Pendleton fabric, and I was just sitting there, and it all clicked. I was like, oh, that's what you gotta do. So I fucking stayed up all night, didn't sleep. My brother helped me at the time, who doesn't do any of this type of shit. Made the shoe, went to the shoe repair shop at the time, put the boot sole on, fucking got on the plane right after, and flew down to LA and showed him. So it was like, it's not even the design of the shoe, it's just like the experience that helped create that shoe, you know? And it's like, did that shoe sell or no? That's not the point. It was just like
made it.
How you switched from gears, and that you created this energy and built something to life, you know?
That's it. That's really sick.
And that's, we're at that same point today. At the same point, like, I've learned to understand design a little bit more and how to put something on a computer. And now we're getting into 3D, so you can visualize it a little bit better and feel it. But we still have to make a sample and feel it. You know what I mean?
Are you dirty with it? That's tight.
Yeah.
That's it. What would you say? I guess was like, what was your like defining moment? Your I'm him moment. The moment you were like, you know what? I'm doing this shit. And I'm doing this shit like full send. What was that? What was that for you?
I love how you asked that question. Because other people ask, like, when do you know you made it? And it's like, or like, what was that one thing? And it's like, there's no one thing. So what is that defining moment? I think it's ongoing, man. I think I just realized that like a couple weeks ago.
It's fucking sick, bro.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like you go through so much, and it's like, yeah, you're making stuff for clients, celebrities, people know who you are on the street, and it's like that. Cool, that was whatever, but like, not until you become really present and conscious, you're like,
yeah, sir.
nothing else fucking matters. And now I think it's very recent where I'm like, I can be present in a room and like talk to people and not be like get distracted about shit. So it's like, yeah, that's a recent one.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. And I also want to focus on the teaching aspect. I feel like a lot of people, especially in the industry, don't like to give knowledge to others. So what really made you say, you know, I want to become a teacher or a role model to future innovators?
When I was 19, I started looking at shoe repair shops, and the first guy I went to said, "Fuck you, get out of here." And I was like, what? I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was 19, and I was like, I never got so angry. I was just like, I left, and I was just like, what the fuck? The same day I went to another shoe repair shop, because I don't give a fuck if someone says fuck you. Excuse my language. And then when I was 20, I think 20, 21, between 20 and 22, I was working at a gym, and I met a Western boot maker. So I met him, and we became friends, and he's eccentric like me, just like out there, and like fucking made these amazing handmade boots, and then we just clicked so well. And he was always like, yeah, we got to start a school, a trade school. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna, one day we'll do it. I mean, and I think that was the first manifestation of like, we were gonna have a school. I mean, I didn't know where I was gonna go from there, and I didn't even know if I really believed it at the time. I mean, but I think that was definitely the start of the manifestation of like, yo, we need to get this to creatives like us and youth, because we didn't have, no one just taught us. It's like we had to do all this shit to make it happen. So why not make it easier to get in other people's hands, because it was not easy for me to get it. And I took, you know, I learned from I pieced all of these things together to create what we have now. And it's like, you know, still evolving. So it's like, why not give this knowledge to the people? And it's not just kids. I usually reference kids, but it's not kids. It's like all types of people that just want to create. So now they're taking it to a different level, and that's what I like to see. Is like, it's like Tesla's model, right? Like his whole thing was put all the information out there, and then people copy and get better. It's like, that's how you innovate, and that's how you actually evolve as mankind, and you do it in a way where it also helps change other people's lives, you know?
That's crazy.
It's a great analogy. I like the way you put that, Tesla.
That's crazy. So what, I guess, like, what do you want to see from mankind? Like, how do you feel like you get to bring that to life with what you do every day?
What do I want to see from mankind? I want more people to create, and more people to be exposed to creating, whether it's shoemaking or any type of making, clothing, but also cooking. We're putting a kitchen in here. I come from my parents are all chefs. Everyone's a chef in my family. So it's like, and I didn't realize till now like how creative we were, how creative they are, and how it influenced me now. I was just like, fuck, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. But now it's like, I want to cook. Now I cook out. I'm cooking so much, and then we're going to put a small private kitchen so I can cook for my staff. I can cook for the team, and then eventually we can have cooking classes for the kids that don't know how to cook. Because I mean, a lot of people don't know how to cook, and now we're ordering all of these apps and lazy. The
Running up the
the food
DoorDash.
comes cold now, and it's like you're spending so much money, and it's like. When you actually move the energy and you're actually making it, you sit, once you're done with it, you sit, no matter how good or bad it is, you sit there and you're like, damn, I made this for myself. There was this energy that made all of this move. It's not like you click and then you get it and it's, you know what I mean? It's there's something different about it, and I want to be able to bring that back. I mean, handmade in general, right? Like that was one of my goals back in the days was like, let's bring American made product back. And I think it's even more minute, smaller than a handmade product. I think it's going to be more focused on the closest areas around you, right? Like it's like if you're regional, right? If you're in Italy, the specific region only uses what's in their region to cook or to do whatever. So it's like that's what I think. Especially with how COVID went down, like we're not even able to travel and move, and like imports are changing, so it's gonna get back to this like farm to table type of thing with everything that we do.
Okay. And speaking on COVID, how do you feel like you adapted to COVID? Like, what were some of the tangible things that you did to really adapt to the pandemic?
Yeah, man, it was a very scary. I mean, it's still scary. It was definitely very scary at first, right? Because it's an unknown. Everyone's freaking out. You're hearing multiple things from so many different sources. So you're just like, what the fuck? And you're like, you're confused, you're lost, you don't know if you're going to, all of these things. So it was definitely, there was a lot of fear in it. And I think that helped me, through my team. I have such an amazing team that spearheaded it to show like, let's just keep going, right? Like, so we've always been making surgeon masks. Hence shoe surgeon. If you look at the logo, it actually has the logo on the mask. So yeah, we've always been making masks, so we've been able to do that, and we've been making, to continue to move forward, and it's just really taught me about fear and like failure. Like I recently just came up understanding that I have no concept of failure. Like that doesn't even, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't sit with me. So it's like you can, and that's just, it's just sitting in fear. It's like we can be controlled by fear, and it's like it's an unknown. What are we in fear of? Like what's the most thing we're scared of? Us dying, or someone special to us dying? Like, is that you can create all of these mind stories and scenarios in your head, but it's like, why? You don't need to. Let's always focus on the positive movement forward, and there's gonna be times shit's gonna suck. There's gonna be hard times. That's life for sure. And I'm never gonna, say life's easy. But at the same time, it's like just keep going, moving forward. You don't need to be scared or driven by fear.
I see. So I guess like what tenet do you hold in like that? Like what's like, you know what I mean? Like what tenet do you hold very close to you that like inspires you? Like what keeps you centered? Like what brings you back? Like snaps you back into reality?
My kids.
5.
My son's 5. My daughter's 2. But them for sure. Also, just learning breath work and meditation, and like learning to master yourself, and even it's never ending. It's never ending. So it's like you're never perfect, and you're never gonna know it all. So it's also just understanding that what you don't know is more powerful than what you do know. Yeah.
Wait.
I mean, so I see. So over time, I've seen like rappers or celebrities that go back to college and shit. I'm like, what the fuck would they do that, or how would they do that? And it all makes sense now. It's because they've mastered something that they've done, and now they know that they're fucking good at something, and they have that willpower, and now they can go master something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I do see myself actually going to college because when I was a kid, I was like, fuck college. Well, first it was like, oh, it's too expensive. Right, which it is. It is too expensive. It is too expensive. Right, which that's a bigger conversation where I do want to change the way schooling is done. We have online classes and more hands-on workshop-based learning. I think is going to be the future. Yet I still want to do stuff that I said was too hard, or it was like I'll never do that. Like now I want to accomplish those things. I don't know what I want to go back to school for. I have other things to do before that, but and at the same time, it's like eventually I'll do that, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, come to UCLA.
I know. Wait, how is it to be? How long does it take to be an actual real surgeon?
Yeah, isn't it like
12 years?
Yeah, and then you have 4 years med school, and you have like a residency. You gotta.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. We don't know. Actually, one of my friends is a plastic surgeon, so I'm gonna go just watch and learn from him. So technically, maybe I don't have to go back to school, and I can just watch someone that's went to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like a cheat. I'm not gonna just go out and do it, but I mean, at least I get to see and learn hands on.
Okay. So, the shoe surgeon headquarters. LA,
Yeah, we call it Surgeon Studios.
Surgeon Studios. I like that. So,
Top shop.
why LA? Like of all places.
So I was born in Orange County. My dad grew up in Orange County. My parents actually met in Hollywood when they were 18, 20, I don't know, somewhere around that. And I moved up to Northern California when I was 1. So I grew up in the Bay Area. Lived in Charlotte from 18 to 19 years old.
Ooh, wow.
Then moved back up to the Bay. And then the past... I've been coming down to LA since I was 23, I think. LA is just that place where, like, I think a lot of it's like you see things happening. You see movies, you see celebrities, and there was just so much stuff. And when I first came down to LA, I was delivering a pair of shoes for will.i.am for the VMAs through a friend. And I linked up with another friend that was already in LA. He was making clothes in downtown LA, and I was just like, wow, this is sick. There's so much creative energy here. A lot of people think Hollywood, and it's like Hollywood will always be Hollywood. It was like downtown LA was like fucking cutting patterns and this, and I was just like, man, I love this shit.
Yeah, that's where you get to it.
Yeah, so then eventually, it took me some time, and then my mentor, gave me the opportunity to move into his studio. It was like 200 square feet. I think the room was this size, except for the ceiling was this high, walls were closer. But I had the opportunity to come to LA finally, and I overcame some things personally, so it was the time. So, if it wasn't for all of these little things and my mentor that was just like, gave me that extra push, and I believed in him and I believed in myself. Because if I would have failed, I'd be back up there, and so what? Like, at least you tried, right? That's what I want to instill in my classes, which I speak about too. It's just like, you don't know if you don't try.
Yeah.
That's
it. Nice.
I'd rather fail knowing that I tried it than not ever knowing. And actually, my mother-in-law told me that one too. Me and my girlfriend, wife at the time, were like, oh, we don't know if we're gonna move, if we're gonna make money, always that doubt. And she's like, you're not gonna know if you don't try. So shout out to Narmeen, who's actually a psychology teacher up in Santa Rosa, SRJC.
Shout out.
A family full of wisdom.
Yeah.
That's fire. I guess just wrap this back up and just like bring this present into this room. Just like this your studio, correct? So I guess just like look around, like pick a moment, or like pick just I don't know, like a memory, or like just something. It's like what it means to you. Just like sitting here right now.
I mean, I'm grateful and blessed. I'm getting interviewed by UCLA. You guys go to a college, a university. I never thought. I mean, is it a university?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bad with college schools. Like, I don't understand that.
But
like, it's amazing to be able to, to get looked at like that. So it's just like, yeah, I'm grateful and blessed in this moment, and you guys coming out and doing this, and yeah, hopefully we can get out to the school next year.
I would love to have you. Come through. No, we'll for sure. Yeah, we'll get you set up.
With everything that you would need.
Actually, one of the first times I came down to LA was it Westwood? Yeah, so you guys are at, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, UCLA's down the street. I was like, oh, this is sick. It's like college area. I was like, this is sick. So.
And now you're by our rivals, USC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see who wants the collaboration first.
We're
Give you a little more hungry.
Yeah. Well,
sick.
Dominic, shoe surgeon, thank you very much for being here and for participating in this interview.
Into your space.
Yeah, of course,
This
man.
is super, super sick. Anything that, final words that you want to say, anything you want to plug?
I mean, I guess where is this going? Where does this live? This video, the podcast.
Oh, this is going everywhere. It's
Okay.
going to be dispersed everywhere, most likely all DSPs.
I mean, it's just like no matter what you do or you go after, it's all the same.
Uh-huh.
You don't let fear control, where you're headed. Don't let failure scare you. Doesn't matter what you do. If you're gonna, go to a four-year school, or if you also feel like, I can't fully speak on this specifically of like you don't really know. I mean, it's kind of links up, but it's like a lot of people go to college and they don't really know what they want to do, and it's like, I mean, I'm lucky that I found what I wanted, but at the same time, I was still very unsure. I was very unsure for a long time of like, halfway in, halfway out.
Yeah.
And it took a while to like really get into it of like, oh no, I'm gonna do this. But it's like anything you do, like try it. I don't like using the word try. Life's too short, so just go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Appreciate that.
Of course.